What is going on, my YouTube friends? Today I'm going to be discussing the programming of the 430 and the 430N MyGig radio found in many Fiat Chrysler automobiles. Now, if you're watching this video, this is a part 2 to the Jeep Compass install for the backup camera system. Works for Jeep Compass and also the Patriots. So this one actually applies, the programming portion applies to numerous other automobiles like Jeeps, some Chryslers, and I'll have a list down somewhere, or I might just put it here. But basically, if you're installing a backup camera system that you want to utilize the original radio, you will unfortunately have to program it. So there's a couple options that you can go with. The first one being a dealer install. So you go to the dealer and you have them program or enable the VIN number saying how the vehicle now has the backup camera. Now they want you to install the backup camera system first and then go there to get programmed. So the second option is using what's called an OBD Genie. And what this is, it's a little plug-in that goes into your OBD port, and it's real simple. You just plug it in and your vehicle will do its thing in a matter of seconds. The horn will honk and then it's programmed. And they have various versions of them depending on what you're looking for. They have daytime running lights, power folding mirror package. Obviously you would need the appropriate mirrors to work for that. But pretty much what this video entails is the backup camera system. So this is the OBD Genie that you'd be looking for. And this is identical to what we need. We need the backup lines and the camera functionality of the original MyGig radio. And then it's nice because it has a list of all the different Jeep Chrysler vehicles that it works with. The downside is the sheer cost of this. Purchasing this, you get one license and it's $200. $200 one-time use. That's friggin' absurd. So, you thought the dealer was bad. At least this way, you actually avoid the dealer, which is nice, but you only get one license, and once you use it, you're done. You can throw it away, or actually you can mail it back to them, and I think they'll give you 25 bucks back, but, you know, at that point, like, come on. It doesn't really matter. It's already 200 bucks. That's ridiculous. The third and final option that we will be using is going to be a combination of two items. The first one is the cable that you see here on the screen. It's called a Scan Tool OBD Link SX USB. And what you get here is an OBD connector that plugs into a USB that goes into your computer. And it comes with a license and some other stuff. And actually, we don't need the license for what we'll be doing. And it works for a multitude of different vehicles. So OBD will be 96 and newer. And then here under the product details, you can see a bit more right here. But I won't go into the details of it. But it's nice. It's kind of like a scanner, but instead of having a little guy, you just plug it into your laptop, and I think it's a little more universal that way. A little more availability to options and whatnot. But best part, $29.99, Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping, beautiful. Second portion of this is the AppCar Diagnostic FCA Fiat Chrysler Automobile Software System for $49 flat. Pretty cool. So real quick, let me talk about it. It does more than just enabling the backup camera system. It is definitely worth it because you get things like you can check DTC trouble codes, diagnostic trouble codes. You can mess with the TPMS system, the tire pressure monitoring system. You can disable it. You can even change the parameters. Instead of the low tire pressure light kicking on at 32 psi, you can switch it to say 35. Daytime running light programming, you can change the settings with that. One-touch lane change, so instead of holding down the turn signal and then lifting it back up whenever you're changing a lane, you can actually just tap it down and then it'll signal, say, 3 or 4 times. I know it's a tough world we live in and it's very daunting to change lanes, so you can do that with one-touch lane change. Tire size and axle ratio. If you're lifting up your Jeep Wrangler and you're switching out the axle ratio and the tire size and your speedo is all whack because of it, because you put them big old mud bogging tires on there so you can get her done, you can change the tire size and axle ratio, which is pretty friggin' cool. So the vehicles that it works for, obviously Fiat Chrysler automobiles, but for sake of things here, we are messing with a Jeep. So Jeep Compass, like today's video, 07 to 17. This works for a Patriot, Jeep Patriot 07 to 17. So the actual hardware of me installing in this video will work very similar to both of these. Software, the same thing. Jeep Wrangler, unfortunately, the hardware installation of this video doesn't apply to a Jeep Wrangler because obviously it's an entirely different vehicle. But this whole software portion of things where you're enabling the radio, enabling the backup camera system with the factory MyGig radio, it is the exact same, and that'll work for 07 to 18. But you can see also the Cherokee and the Liberty in there and the Commander. So we'll buy it now. It is a licensed product, so you will need a VIN number for it to work, and I believe they will email us everything we need. So in sum, the dealership, you really are limited to the knowledge of the person doing the programming. You may get lucky and be able to have them program 5 separate things within that 1 hour for $120, which would be worthwhile. But you're really limited to the knowledge if they can do it or not, because more than likely you're going to be sitting there explaining how to do it. You know, here's the instructions that the company for the backup camera system provided me. But even then, they're going to give you grief because they wanted to charge me almost 2 hours worth just to figure the system out. So that's $240. That's absolutely ridiculous. And they couldn't even guarantee anything. So the OBD Genie, it's $200. You plug it in. It has a specific purpose, but once it's done, it's done. It doesn't even unprogram it. Not that you really need to, but for whatever reason, you don't get that option to unprogram it. But you do have the benefit of not having to go to the dealer, and once you plug it in, there's no grief, no waiting. You order it, ship to your door, plug it in, you know it's going to get done. But the third option, buying that cable on Amazon and that software that I showed you, that's definitely the route to go. It's $80. There is licensing behind it. The OBD software you don't necessarily need, you just need the cable. But the diagnostic FCA, that software, that you do need the licensing for. That's going to give you the access to this. But the benefit of that, you're going to have unlimited time of plugging it in, programming it, unprogramming it. The diagnostic features, you can even disable TPMS, change parameters, headlights when they come on, fog lights, all kinds of different things. It's so much more universal. You can also do it at home. There's just a little extra work to it. But in this video, I'm actually going to show you how to go about doing it and show you how simple it really is, believe it or not. And it's much cheaper, no waiting in lines. You order it. The OBD cable comes Amazon Prime, 2-day shipping, as well as the software. You purchase it, and within 24 hours, it gets emailed to you. Very simple. I'm going to show you how to do it, and let's get started. The first thing that you'll need to do is go to the actual program itself, the AppCar,
Don't worry about the OBD Wiz. You don't have to download it. You don't have to worry about the licensing of that. You're only using that program specifically for the cable, not the software. That's why you have this program right here. But once you purchase this software, within 24 hours, they will email you everything that you need to know. They'll have the link to download this. You'll download it. It recommends going to settings. You'll type in your user, password, and then they'll have the server. You will need to be connected to the internet, so make sure you're doing this pre-plugging this into the vehicle. You're doing this at home where you have good Wi-Fi or whatnot. So set this up, save it, the program will restart. Next, whenever you load up this program again, make sure you plug in this cable, the OBD link cable. Again, we're not going to be plugging into the vehicle just yet, just plug in this cable. So still in your house with the access of the internet, you'll want to set these settings right here. So this cable, the OBD Link SX, go to serial port USB. There are other ones, Bluetooth, direct, Wi-Fi. There are other options you can use, but for this specific programming, we are using this OBD Link cable, and that's what that'll be, serial port / USB / Bluetooth. The COM port, it varies. So mine, I have either COM 3, COM 10, baud rate 115200. This you will need to set for this cable. So these two, the top and the bottom, are going to look identical to mine. That's what they should be. The COM port will vary. So the COM port, how you figure that out is go to your device management system, your device manager. Type this in real quick. Device manager. Now this is on Windows 7. I know this program system works for Windows 7 and XP, and I believe they have a different one that'll work for Windows 8, 10, etc. But I heard with the Jeep stuff that you want to use the Windows 7 preferably, but I believe it will work for the others. They're just maybe a little bit different of a procedure for that. But anyways, so to get that COM port, this is Device Manager. Go down here, ports, double click, there's the USB serial port, COM 10. So that's what we need, COM 10. So now that we know what the port is, make sure this is set to COM 10. Now what else you can do in Device Manager here, let me go back to it. So you can see device is working properly. Again, it'll say COM 10. Port settings. Now you will need to verify and probably change this right here, the bits per second. You will need to set to the 115200. Outside of that, you really don't need to mess with much. You can update the drivers. I would press this to update it just in case. And then once this is all set up, you have the serial port, COM 10, 115200. Now you can save. Save successfully. It'll ask you to restart. Now you are good to hook everything up.
Now what you're going to do is plug this into the OBD port right there on the driver's side.
That you have the AppCar software dialed in, now we can go ahead and launch the program. So we have the settings set. Cable is hooked up to the vehicle. Turn it to the accessory position. Now we are good to go with connecting. So you don't have to worry about testing the interface and settings. Don't worry about that. Just go to My Car, and the first time that you're running this hooked up to the vehicle, you will need to download the database. For me, it's a little tricky because being that I have a detached garage, I don't pick up Wi-Fi because you will need to download the database. But I don't have Wi-Fi, so I recommend using your phone as a hotspot. It's much easier. But to show you guys that I don't have the camera system program right now, here we are throwing the car in reverse, and you see it's not doing anything. So now, once you're connected to an internet connection, you want to download the database. Now with the database available, you can go in to check the diagnostics and many other settings. Check reports. But the important portion is the programming and the one that we're concerned with, so I won't really be going into any of these other ones. But I mean, you can see the whole slew of options that you can do. Change tire size. This program works for the Jeep Wrangler, so if you're jacking your vehicle up, you're changing the ring gears, the axles and whatnot. Tire size, you can mess with that to make sure that your speedo is working properly. TPMS systems, change the ratings, disable it. Radio, say that your old radio broke, you pulled another one from a junkyard and it's locked, you can go in here and basically marry them together and disable the anti-theft within it. Backup camera, that's obviously what we'll be using, but I mean the list goes on and on and on, and quite honestly I don't really know all of these different options. Clearly the power folding mirrors, you do need powered mirrors of some sort to enable and disable that, but to show how ridiculously simple this is, once you get everything set up with the programming software, just click on run, rear backup camera, enable, next, radio will restart, click next. Let's see, rear backup camera, that's enabled. I mean, that's how ridiculously simple it is. No waiting at the dealership. You don't have to buy a $200 OBD Genie that you use once and throw it away. I mean, you can go in here and change so many different settings. I mean, it's insane. So let's see what else we have here. I mean, the list goes on and on, but literally, this is how simple this program is to use, and you don't have any hassle. It can be kind of tricky to get everything set up, but the software that comes with the cable, again, you don't have to worry about it. You can download it and mess around with that if you wanted to. I mean, it might be worthwhile if you purchased it, but the AppCar stuff does a lot of the same thing, just plus more, does the programming. If you want to know anything in particular about either one of these softwares, be sure to let me know. I'd be glad to film it within limitations of the vehicle, because obviously I can't show you the programming of the folding mirrors if I don't have the motors within the mirrors to program, but things like the backup camera, the headlights and stuff like that I can mess with. But yeah, so the OBD software, I wouldn't really worry about it. Just make sure you buy this proper cable, use the AppCar setup like I showed you, and together you have a great system that you can change many different settings with your radio, the backup camera system, many other things with the vehicle, and it's unlimited. You can plug it in as many times as you want. You're just limited to one VIN, but you can always add more VINs, and the customer service with these people are really awesome. The guy, I believe, is out of Poland, but he did answer a couple questions I had, and then also any issues that arise, he'll get back to you within 48 hours. At least that's what the issue that I had, he got back to me real quick. But what I realized was that device manager, the COM port, I didn't have set up right, but again, I reached out to the guy in Poland, and within 48 hours he realized what the issue was and let me know. So that's kind of why I'm telling you. But with that being said, I appreciate you watching, and really I hope I'm not overcomplicating this. This really is a simple process of doing it. I mean, you buy one $30 cable that plugs into your OBD port, you pay the $50 for the software, and it's unlimited usage. No going to the dealer, waiting in line, having to explain anything to them. Don't have to worry about the OBD Genie thing that you plug in once and it's done. you're limited to the VIN number and obviously having to have a computer, but outside of that, it's very simple. The AppCar software people, they have a great customer service. They'll respond to you, at least in my case, within 48 hours, the initial email, and then after that, they're very quick to respond. But it's very simple. I'm not a big technology guy. I'm lucky to even have a cell phone and even use half of the features on it, believe it or not. But it is very simple to use, and it's very effective. I mean, within a matter of minutes, you can get your backup camera system working. It is all in the setup, getting everything working together. You are limited again to having a computer and Wi-Fi and whatnot, but once you set everything up, you download that initial database, you don't need Wi-Fi again, because every time you log into the AppCar settings or the AppCar system, as long as you're plugged into the OBD port, you don't need Wi-Fi. You can change anything that you want. So I'm gonna quit rambling because this video is probably already long enough. I'm making it seem probably more complicated than it really honestly is. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, want me to show any specific settings, I'll be glad to do a video. Now that is in limitation. I can't show you the power folding mirrors because I don't have the power folding mirrors to begin with, but some other stuff with the headlights and stuff I might be able to show you. If you have any specific comments about the software, any questions, I can help you where I can. Honestly, you're probably best off reaching out to the people that run the software, but I can help you maybe talk a little more about the issues that I came across. But really, I only had one of them, and that's the COM port setting that I showed you right here. But I appreciate you watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and keep being awesome, my friends. It's been fun.